Your baby is sleeping across the room right now. They look peaceful, quiet, settled. But inside that tiny body, something is happening that most parents never get to see. And once you understand it, you may never look at infant sleep the same way again. When researchers placed sensors on sleeping babies, they found something surprising. Infants left alone showed uneven breathing, unstable heart rhythms, and quietly rising stress hormones. The moment that same baby was placed near a caregiver, everything calmed down. So, what is actually happening inside your baby's body at night? Let's start with something most parents are never told. A human baby's brain at birth is only about 25% of its adult size. That is astonishingly underdeveloped compared to almost every other mammal on Earth. A baby horse can stand within an hour. A baby dolphin swims the moment it is born. Your baby cannot even lift their own head. There is a strategic reason for that. If a human baby were born with a fully developed brain, the skull would be too large to deliver safely. So nature struck a deal. Babies arrive early with the brain still under construction, and the rest of the wiring happens outside the womb. Some scientists call this the fourth trimester. During those first months, your baby is still developing emotionally, neurologically, physically. And here's what matters most for sleep. A baby's nervous system in those early months is not designed to regulate itself. It's designed to regulate against another body. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your warmth, your scent. These are not comforting extras. They are inputs your baby's brain actively uses to learn how to run its own systems. When that connection breaks, the system starts throwing small errors, and sleep is when those errors are easiest to spot. Most parents have heard the same advice repeated over and over. Train the baby to sleep alone. Get them in their own crib. Push for independence early. But very few are told what that transition actually looks like from inside the baby's body. Dr. Tiffany Field's well-known work on infant separation documented that babies separated from caregivers during sleep showed elevated stress hormones within minutes. Not hours, minutes. A 2012 paper published in Early Human Development tracked infants sleeping alone versus close to a parent. The contrast was stark. Babies sleeping in isolation spent far more time in a state of internal arousal, even when they appeared completely calm on the outside. Read that carefully. They were not crying, they were not fussing. From across the room, they looked perfectly fine. But their bodies were quietly on alert while their faces stayed still. This matters because sleep for a baby is not just rest. Sleep is when the brain builds itself. Memories get consolidated. Growth hormone floods the system. Tissues repair. Every one of those processes works better in a calm, low-stress state. And what creates that calm state? You already know. Evolution explains why. For most of human history, a baby losing contact with its mother during sleep meant something had gone seriously wrong. So evolution hardwired an alarm directly into the infant nervous system. Separation registered as danger. Closeness registered as safety. Attachment researchers going back to John Bowlby in the 1950s called this the proximity-seeking system. And that ancient alarm has no idea you live in a safe apartment. It only knows one thing: caregiver gone, threat possible. The stress response activates anyway. But babies do not all respond the same way. Some cry loudly the moment they sense distance. Others go completely silent. And researchers actually pay closer attention to the silent ones. Because a baby who stops signaling is not always a baby who has settled. Often, it's a baby whose brain has registered that signaling doesn't work and has shifted into a kind of internal shutdown. The cortisol is still elevated. The body is still on alert, but the protest stops. That's very different from real independence. Now here's the part that scientists almost couldn't believe when they first measured it. It's called physiological synchrony. When a baby sleeps close to a caregiver, their bodies fall into rhythm with each other. Breathing aligns, heart rate patterns mirror, even sleep cycles begin to coordinate. Research found that mothers and babies in close sleep contact showed significantly tighter biological coordination than separated pairs, measurable down to the millisecond. In plain terms, the caregiver's mature, regulated nervous system quietly organizes the baby's developing one. You're literally lending your nervous system to your child while they sleep. If you knew that simply being near your baby was steadying their heart, smoothing their breathing, lowering their stress, and actively supporting brain development, would that change how you feel about the 3 a.m. wake-ups? Now, we have to talk about co-sleeping because opinions divide fast on this one. So let's be precise. There's a meaningful difference between bed sharing, where the baby sleeps on the same surface as an adult, and room sharing, where the baby sleeps in the same room but on a separate, safe surface. The American Academy of Pediatrics currently recommends room sharing without bed sharing for at least the first 6 months, and their concerns about bed sharing are real, especially when soft bedding, alcohol, or extreme exhaustion are involved. But closeness itself is a different question entirely. Dr. James McKenna at the University of Notre Dame has spent decades studying mother and infant sleep. His work shows that mothers and babies who share sleep space safely demonstrate strong physiological coordination and well-matched sleep cycles. The real question is not whether babies should sleep near their parents. It's how to make that closeness safe. So what does that actually look like in real life? A bassinet or sidecar sleeper within arm's reach gives you the proximity benefits without the bed-sharing risks. Your scent matters more than most parents realize. Infants sleeping near a piece of clothing carrying their mother's smell show lower cortisol and longer stretches of quiet sleep. And the pull you feel to bring your baby close is not a bad habit waiting to be broken. It's exactly what evolution designed. Step back for a moment and see the bigger picture. Early sleep is not just about sleep. It's one of the first places where attachment forms, where trust gets coded into the brain, where your baby learns at the deepest level whether the world is a safe place. Sleep is when your baby is most helpless, most dependent, most in need of the message that someone is there. When that message arrives consistently, the research is clear. Children grow up with stronger emotional regulation, deeper resilience, and more secure attachment. So the next time you're standing in the dark at 2 a.m, holding your baby close, listening to their breath slow against your chest, you're not just getting through a long night. You're shaping a brain. You're building a person. And that's everything. If this helped you see your baby sleep differently, subscribe. Every week, we explore the hidden science behind your baby's developing mind, the things most parents never get to hear about. A quick like really does help other tired, curious parents find this channel. See you in the next one.